This week is California Flood Preparedness Week. A different flood hazard will be highlighted each day this week. Today, we'll discuss floodplains. So what is a floodplain? Well, it's an area prone to flooding, usually near rivers, streams, dry washes, or along coastal areas. But low-lying areas behind protective structures such as dams and levees also carry a residual risk of flooding, and there is a floodplain associated with the failure of these structures. Some areas are more likely to flood than others. A 100-year floodplain is defined as an area that has a 1% chance of flooding in any given year. This diagram illustrates the 100-year floodplain. The river is normally confined to the area shaded in black, but occasionally flows out into the brown shaded area during periods of high water. Rare events can send the river flowing out of its usual banks into nearby areas. The 100-year floodplain, shown in the light shading, is the area that has a 1% chance of flooding in any given year. These probabilities are calculated based on historical flooding and/or rainfall patterns. Notice the house circled in green on the right side of the diagram. It lies outside of the 100-year floodplain, but you can imagine a bigger flood could reach the house. It would just have a lower frequency or probability of occurrence. For example, the house may lie in the 500-year floodplain, which would translate into a 0.2% chance of occurring in any given year. This is a map of the FEMA 100-year floodplain for California. It shows floodplains in many areas of California, but notice how extensive the floodplain is in central California. Living in floodplains involves risk, and you may not even be aware that you're living in a floodplain due to the low frequency of flood events. You may also travel to an area and not be aware of the particular flood risk for that area. Recognizing flood risk and knowing what to do in the event of flooding could save your life. Stay tuned this week for more information and tips on the various flood hazards in California and how to prepare for them. You can find more information by following the link in the lower portion of the screen.